It's enough, I think. It's enough, I think.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Green Live stream. I'm your host, Edie Arndell, and I'm here with my super awesome co-host, Mr. Scott Free.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
So been a little emotional this morning, but I'm hanging in. I think that's the Green Party way, you know. We seem to be people that care deeply about the world and not just ourselves. We're not in this for a career. If we were, we would definitely go a different path. There's a lot of money to be made in other places, but that is not where our heart is. So that's not what we do. And I wanted to give a shout out to Hazel. We now have a producer, so if things run a little better today, it's because of Hazel.
You won't see me doing this all day. That is gone. I'll be back. I'll be relaxed.
Yeah. Able to join the conversation fully.
So thank you, Hazel. We really appreciate
Hazel.
this.
Yeah, Hazel is usually in our chat, but today she's behind the scenes.
Yes. Private chat.
Yeah, and welcome, Alexandria. And please like, subscribe, and share the stream because these are stories that need to be broadcast far and wide. We try to cover not the typical view, definitely not the mainstream view, and definitely, you know, not how they frame it. But also, we try to cover some more stuff that maybe even the independent might miss. We look hard for stuff that's not being talked about. So, like the breaking news, Scott, you want to go for that?
Yeah,
so,
you know, we'll see how many people talk about it. I mean, it seems real obvious. You can go ahead, Hazel, and put up the first graphic. Is that this guy? You know, you heard that he went and killed folks and then shot himself in New York. He came from Las Vegas. He went to a specific floor of a building, and it can't be coincidence that he shot the CEO of Blackstone. Blackstone is tied in with BlackRock. That those two companies combined are one of the biggest companies in the globe. They own like everything around. They own like 50% of housing in the U.S. They are the company that our wonderful government will go in and bomb a country and smash it and destroy it. And then somehow, isn't it amazing? Blackstone gets hired to rebuild. So they are a really, really horrible, corrupt company. And there's no doubt that the press is going to really try to suppress this. The one thing I heard is they found some letter from him saying, you know, help me or something. And you know, I remember when the Luigi one happened, immediately I think on CNN they had a hotline for suicide awareness or something or mental health, you know. Now, you know, the difference is, of course, this guy did shoot himself and kill himself. So we won't hear from him. But it seems, you know, and if you want to put up the next graphic, Hazel,
and so did Epstein, right?
Yeah, right. That's a whole other
I don't know how
story.
much I buy into anything they
We're
tell
not
us
covering
anymore.
that one. We're not covering that one today.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. That's what they said about him, too. So
yeah, of course.
Just saying.
So this is from Power to the People, who Hazel and I both follow on Twitter and love. The CEO of Blackstone Real Estate Income Trust was among those killed in New York City yesterday. They are the ones buying up homes and marking them up at astronomical prices. The media is downplaying and burying this angle of this story that another CEO was gunned down. It's pretty clear why. It does seem pretty clear. I mean, yeah, you don't go all the way from Las Vegas to. So we'll see the fallout of it. You know, it's interesting to hear people talk about revolution and the different ways. And one of my favorites is Colonial Outcasts and Greg Stoker, and he was talking about that. And we'll probably show a clip next week, that something he did this week. But you know, to me, it's like this is part of revolution. I'm not trying anything positive or negative. It's happening. We're commenting on these things, but this, you know, the history books may point it this way. You know, it's tricky. There are great evils out there. Does that mean it's okay to kill? No, but there are astronomical evils, and it does seem like, again, in a revolutionary spirit, that the evils are just completely consuming everyone and all countries. It's all consuming. At least that's how it feels.
I wanted to put up a comment from Alexandria, which is running for Congress in District 10,
Yes, in Illinois.
Let's
Woo!
go, Lake County.
Yes.
Blackstone is so corrupt, even the coffee chains they have investments in are corrupt and do sketchy stuff. Everything they touch, they ruin.
Yeah.
And BlackRock owns a lot of our pensions, right?
Oh God. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, seriously.
They have
folks,
they have the hands in the money.
everything. It's
And we're going to talk later about how, what was that 4 years ago that Gray Zone was covering, that money is going to be the new weapon against people. Yeah. But yeah, so, society has had it. And some people are taking matters into their own hands. I don't condone violence, but I do understand it.
Yeah.
Because these people are beyond evil. And sometimes when, nobody's stopping them from hurting others. So some people think they need to stop them. I wanted to move on to talk about there are more important people in the world. It's got a very trigger warning kind of picture in it.
Yeah, it's great. Hazel, don't spend too much time on that picture. It's triggers, folks.
Yeah. So it's 3 a.m. from my very good friend Yvonne Scott. She says, I woke at my usual early morning hour, 3 a.m., after a long day of searching for regular lids for my ball canning jars, blah, blah, blah. The regular stuff. So I really enjoy listening to something while I preserve whatever fresh foods are ready. It's canning season, tomatoes, peaches, corn. I'm very blessed and busy. The latest astrology report or audiobook or live stream keeps me on task, just not now. In fact, after these past weeks of nothing but this pedo coverage, I'm about to swear off and dump all the news sites, starting with Midas Touch Network and working down a long list of former favorites.
Midas is the worst, by the way.
Only keeping Amy Goodman Democracy Now! Because she still opens with a segment on Gaza. She's talking about semi-mainstream things that have been a go-to and are no longer. Why would I do that? Every one of my so-called liberal and open-minded news stations have succumbed to the oldest bribe known to YouTube and indie media subscribers. And what they believe all their subscribers want now is more and more Epstein Trump sensationalism over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum while this is happening. And that's the really horrific picture of Gaza being exterminated. If you're not appalled by this photo, if you will skip down and or click out of this post right now, I also hope you will unsubscribe. I'm tired of gentrified protest once in a while, basically lip service with a tiny bit of rage thrown in. If following a live streamed soap opera about two sex addict pedophiles is more important to you than a live streamed genocide of helpless, confined population of mostly children within days of total mass starvation, please go away. Of course, we get tired of protesting. Folks were out here in Carbondale last Thursday at 7 p.m., sweating on Main Street, banging pots and waving Palestinian flags to remind folks it ain't over. They were out there again on Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. at 104 degrees heat index. They have been out every single Sunday since October 2023. Those are the people that should be on the news. Those are the people worth covering. And it goes on, and I highly recommend you subscribe to Yvonne Scott's It's 3 a.m. on Substack. It's worth it.
And we have stories related to Gaza that we're covering. One that we're not going to broadcast just because it's just too difficult. we might talk about it a little if you want to, Edie. It's up to you. But
Yeah, I can talk about it. I just can't watch it
yeah.
at the moment.
But yeah, it's and I'm not sure which story is next. If we're going to get to the one that I was.
Oh, it's
referring
Israeli
to.
soldiers were told not to patrol, but we
Yeah,
can talk
that's
about
the
this
one.
first.
Okay. Well, you can start with this one. Sure. Go ahead.
Well, so this morning I tuned into Breaking Points. I saw it popped up on my feed on YouTube, and they were interviewing a former Green Beret that was asked to go to Israel and help with the aid distribution centers. And his story, first of all, they did it wrong. He came in as a tourist. He has no protection, legal protection, and immediately he saw how unorganized they were. They put the aid centers in the middle of a live combat zone, asking starving civilians that they are the ones starving them, to come in and get aid. They lined the streets with razor wire, which is illegal in civilian places. He met a little boy that traveled, he said, like 8 kilometers to get there in bare feet, just to stand in line in the hot sun for hours with no shoes, and ended up getting nothing but a bag of rice that was left on the ground. And one other thing, there was no water available. They didn't bring water. And the little boy kissed his hand and thanked him in English. And then he was later killed before he left the area.
Yeah.
That's the IDF for you. They have been given orders to manage the crowd with bullets and tear gas and flashbang.
And that's the thing, that I'm surprised they brought in Green Beret, because our mentality here is a little different than the IDF's. The IDF enjoys all that. I mean, it's a fun game for them. I just saw a video this morning of a IDF soldier who's out of uniform, and he was bragging how he had shot a girl, 12-year-old. And then he said, because I couldn't find any babies, there weren't any. And he's laughing about that, laughing. And it's really sick. It's really sick, the society that has come up in that fake country called Israel. And, I thought about something, and it was like I made this kind of sick joke. And it was, well, we all learned about the Holocaust when we were growing up, because, there was a lesson to be learned. Israelis learned how to do a Holocaust. And I thought, I made a good joke. And then I thought, oh, shit. This started in 1948. I mean, literally.
Because
right
they
after
were
the
homeless.
Holocaust. Well, right after the Holocaust is when this all started. So they literally learned how to do a Holocaust.
Well, and because the world rejected them, and they weren't allowed. I mean, they didn't work on healing from what happened to them as a people.
Well, I mean, the whole.
They wanted safety. That's all they were worried about. So they the hurt people thing. So they went somewhere and hurt people.
Yeah,
because they were hurt.
I know the Zionist project started before 48. I know that,
but I'm saying the people that
it
went
really
along
grew. It grew right at that point. That was
I wanted to show everybody this button. I hear that you can see it. So you want to read it, Scott?
If you wonder what you would have done during slavery or Nazi Germany, you are doing it today. Free Palestine. Yeah, absolutely. And I unfriended a person this week that I've known for decades. Just some snarky comment and about Hamas, and it's just to. And again, I think it just comes to the lifelong propaganda that can especially come in religious settings. And, Nick Cruz has done extensive stuff about it this past week about Judaism, and how in this country, most of Judaism in terms of the synagogues are for this. They are completely okay with it, completely okay. And he covers an anti-Zionist synagogue in Chicago who's been stripped of all their, they were part of the I don't know. I don't even know the structures. I don't have the background, but basically, just completely ostracized for their anti-Zionist stance because they're anti-genocide.
Hmm.
Did
And
you
there's
want to?
been some very public people that was raised Zionist and saw the light once they went to Gaza. And one of my favorite people on the planet, I hope someday to meet him, is Gabor Mate, Dr. Gabor Mate. He's done amazing work with healing, like deep healing of mental health and addiction. And he was raised that way. I mean, he was a baby when the Nazis invaded his country and town. I can't remember where he's from at the moment. But so he was wounded as a baby. And if you think, just because they don't understand what's going on, babies, even if nothing directly happens to them, they feel the trauma of their parents. They're
Oh, yeah,
emotional beings.
of course.
And this whole entire generation of Palestinians are going to be traumatized for decades.
Did you want to put the Alexandria comment back up because it was only up for a second?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, here we go. This one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mate,
Aaron
yeah.
Mate too. But yeah.
Oh yeah, Aaron. I'm a huge Aaron fan. Yeah, he's on Gray Zone with Max Blumenthal.
Yeah. And three of the 4 aid sites in the southernmost point of Gaza, with Israeli officials confirming it's part of Trump's annexation plan for Gaza. The UN says there needs to be at least 400 sites, by the way, not 4.
And of course, that was all part of the plan. And we're going to talk about that a little later. The destruction of UNRWA. And if I'm pronouncing it right, UNRWA.
UNRWA. I'm not sure. Either way.
Yeah, that was all part of the plan. And it was the Biden administration. Well, we'll talk about it later. The Biden administration that was part of the destruction of UNRWA. And knowing full well that this would be the end result. Because, right, then they put up some slopshod, Zionist run food agency, which is just for them a fun way to torture people. That's what that agency is. Because by putting it out 40 miles away, no water, shoot them as they go back. I mean, it's a sick
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Mitsunagi, I hope I'm saying that right. Aaron Mate is also on the Monday morning with Katie Halper.
Katie Halper, yeah.
Useful Idiots. Great. Yeah. They watch the Sunday news shows, so you don't have to.
Right.
I'm like, no power
Thankfully,
keys. I ain't watching it.
It's oh my god, it's rough. It's rough.
Hazel, did you want to bring up the next segment? It starts at
Oh yeah, here we go. Well, this is
36
perfect.
seconds.
Yeah, thank you. This is from someone on Facebook that I just love, and it was so great. I should have saved it. They said for the last year they have only been in communication with people online. And they are so thankful to the people online. And I know I'm one of them because I took one of their posts that it wasn't able to be shared. I took a picture of it. Then I shared it on Facebook and, tagged them. But so I thought this was perfect. We keep talking about aid getting in or aid not getting in as though there's some impenetrable barrier in the way we can't figure out how to breach. So hard. What the fuck are you talking about? Bring the food in, plow through their fucking checkpoints and bring the food in. If they shoot at you, shoot back. You're fucking liberators. Israel has no say. We don't ask for their permission. We don't need their permission. But again, the U.S. needs to seize whatever's left of its morality and stop this madness. And,
before you take that down, look at the profile
pic. It's your button.
It's my button. That was my profile pic for a long time. I'm wondering if they're one of my followers.
Oh, yeah, maybe so. Oh, how is that?
I had this for a long time.
Yeah, I just saw, on Facebook, you really got to work to, I think they're maybe opening it up a little, but you really got to work to find people. So now most of my Facebook friends are people I don't know, I've never met. I got rid of all the ones I knew, got rid of them.
Yeah. Sorry, if you're still hiding your head in the sand, we don't have time for you.
And
you're in the way.
Making excuses for these Democrats that are psychopaths. They're psychopaths that vote for starvation. Sick. They're sick people.
So then I was wrong, Hazel. The next piece is Israeli rights groups accuse Israel of genocide in Gaza. Starts at 7:55. Do you have that? Yeah, this lady.
Okay.
The report we are publishing today is one we never imagined we would have to write. But in recent months, we have been witnessing a reality that has left us no choice but to acknowledge the truth. Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. The report written by us at B'Tselem presents facts, data, and testimonies about how Israel is acting in a deliberate, coordinated, and systematic way to destroy the Palestinians in Gaza, in an attack that aimed at the entire group as such. This has been declared countless times by Israeli officials. This is what is happening on the ground, and this is precisely the definition of genocide. For the past 22 months, we have heard clear statements from the Israeli leadership and military commanders saying precisely what they intend to do.
As an owner of Walton goggle
Yeah.
glasses, I know
That's-
how to flick looking goggle/glasses.
To starve, destroy, and flatten Gaza, a place where no one is considered innocent in their eyes. And then they sent the military in to do just that, exactly as they promised. So for the past 22 months, we have witnessed unprecedented levels of civilian killings, of deliberate starvation, forced mass displacement, and the total destruction of most infrastructure necessary for human and social existence. The people of Gaza have been displaced, bombed, and starved, left completely stripped of their humanity and rights. The first part of our report described exactly that, the practices through which the first part of our report describes exactly that, the practices through which the genocide is being carried out and their devastating consequences on the ground. The second part of the report, in the second part of the report, we describe the conditions that that made it possible for the Israeli regime to become a regime that commits genocide.
Okay, yeah. I just think that.
Most
Oh,
society.
sorry.
We can pause.
Yeah. And who
So
was this?
this is
who-
from DRM News. Just wanted to give credit.
And who was giving this report? I missed this one. I'm sorry.
DRM News.
No, it's Israeli.
Oh, I
it's
don't know her name.
But the group, the organization, it's a Israeli rights group. I didn't. Okay.
Oh,
Get the name of it.
Basalam?
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Okay. And I think that the next piece, it shows something that I think is super, super important, if I have the order right. And this
Yeah.
is a security person along the barbed wire fence of Gaza, who went to the Knesset, and I'm pretty sure there's a few others now who are also admitting this. And do I have it right? Is it the next one? Hey, I should.
Well, I had this till 12:47, but where are we at? 10?
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there more of it?
I mean, I watched it earlier this week.
Okay,
so,
it's up to you.
let's do a couple more minutes and then move on.
Okay.
Is that committed genocide didn't understand at the time the meaning of what they are doing. Throughout history, most societies that committed genocide did not understand at the time the meaning of what they were doing. Every genocide in history has had a justification, at least in the eyes of those who committed it. A story of self-defense in the face of existential threat, of a war of no choice, or of victims who had brought it on themselves. In many historical cases of genocide, we can identify a triggering event. The horrific and criminal Hamas-led attack on October 7th was such an event. It caused unbelievable pain and fear for Israelis, including us here. We must not and cannot downplay the horror of this attack.
See, I got issue with this.
Hang on. Wait till wait.
Okay.
That included countless of grave crimes. Yet, although October 7th was a significant catalyst, Other conditions were required in order for the genocide to become possible. Deep processes of dehumanizing of Palestinians, especially in Gaza, the promotion of ideologies of occupation, of Jewish supremacy, of oppression. All these have shaped Israeli society into one capable of erasing people's humanity and losing all empathy or moral obligation towards them. This is a dreadful combination of circumstances that brought us to the reality we are witnessing today. Decades of life under a regime built on separation and fear, together with a collective trauma of October 7th, at the time when the most extreme right-wing government in the history of Israel is in power. Together, this created the conditions for a deliberate destruction of the Palestinian people in Gaza. This is a call for help, but also a warning. In Gaza, the situation worsens with each passing day. The bombings continue, children keep dying of starvation, people are being shot to death while trying to get food, or die due to lack of medical aid. At the same time, there is also a very real danger to the lives of Palestinians across all areas under Israeli control. In the West Bank, we are witnessing violence on an unprecedented scale and a spillover of the same practices Israel is using in Gaza. This comes as no surprise. The regime is the same regime, the army is the same army, and there is no mechanism, either local or international, to offer protection to Palestinians.
You can stop
That's
there.
why we are compelled to state this.
Yeah, I think it's irresponsible to not include all of the facts that have been brought out through much research. Go to Gray Zone for the first, but it's been absolutely duplicated in other places. For her not to mention this is a real problem.
That's only a
Over,
piece of it.
let me say what they are. Over
Okay,
half, although over half of the people killed on October 7th were killed by Israel. Over half. And they've proven it through the methods of which they died, which is massive burning that can only come from the Apache helicopters. She didn't mention the Hannibal Directive, which they've even stated they put into effect on October 7th, which is if somebody is being taken hostage, kill them all.
Mhm.
That's the Hannibal Directive. It's part of Israel's military operation. She didn't mention either of those things. She just said what happened on October 7th was a horrific, horrible thing. Well, and now our next story, we're going to get into more of that.
That's why I wanted that first, and then we will get into this next.
Yes,
So,
sure.
You
But
know,
I
like
had to
create a
qualify it.
narrative.
Right, but I had to
Yes,
qualify
I'm glad you
it.
did, and if you hadn't, I would have. But I still wanted her
Okay, let's go on.
her saying, now that even in Israel, with all the propaganda and all the lies that they've had their entire life, even they are starting to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, the mass rape that supposedly happened October 7th that the New York Times got a Pulitzer Prize for was completely proven false. Every facet of it proven false, even before they got the Pulitzer Prize.
What is it they say? Every accusation is an admission of guilt.
Yeah, right. True. Where they in the prisons where they were raping the Palestinians. Yep.
Yeah, I've seen footage. Yep.
So, oh God, that was another thing I couldn't watch. Oh God.
Now we watched the. I can't remember the name of it. It was on YouTube. We watched one of those movies talking about the prisons.
Oh yeah. So Hazel, there's a video, and we can have the sound off. It's in Hebrew, and it is a security guard who has come forward and talked about what happened that morning of October 7th. So I'm just going to read as it plays. So at 5:20 a.m., we're sitting by the radio so as to not wake the radio operator. And yeah, you can go ahead and play it. But
can you do full screen? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It's Twitter. And my deputy battalion commander near Bonefeld, who was also seriously injured, and thank God he survived, suddenly gets on the radio with a strange message. All stations, I don't know why, I don't know how, something along those lines. No patrols on the fence. What time was this? 5:20 in the morning. All stations, it must be going double speed. Oh shit. So in terms of ground forces and maybe try to play it again if or
maybe pause at each thing once we get there.
Oh yeah, right. You could just pause until thank you. If you want to just scroll it back just a little so I can catch a couple of those. Yeah. So at 5:20 a.m., we're sitting by the radio so as not to wake the radio operator.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and play. No, there we go.
And maybe and my deputy battalion commander, Sir Bonefeld, who was also seriously injured, and thank God he survived, suddenly gets on the radio with a strange message. All stations, I don't know why, I don't know how, something along those lines. No patrol on the fence. What time was this? 5:20 in the morning. All stations are to hold their positions, so not go out. So in terms of ground forces and OREV, we don't have anything significant. The brigade issued a directive to our forces, pending a situation assessment until 9 a.m. No vehicle is to approach Burma. I'll say it again. Until 9 in the morning, pending the situation assessment, no vehicle is to go down to Burma. We are in rear staging areas, a brigade level arrangement. I don't know exactly why. I don't ask too many questions. That's the directive. That's what we do. A little before it all begins, he means October 7th. And Tomer gives us this look like, what? And we're simple soldiers, just combatants. Oh, they are soldiers, not commanders or officers who can ask questions. It's an order from the deputy battalion. We take the order. We don't ask questions. A routine passing of an order. Sure enough, an hour later at 6:30, suddenly sirens. I've been living with this since October 7th, and I was very afraid to talk about it. And when I got to the Knesset, it was a period after some senior Army officers, what actually happened there. And there were some who initially told me, listen, there was a sniper threat, so we didn't want to send soldiers so they wouldn't get hit. And then over time, it kind of dawned on me, and I said, wait, if there's a sniper threat, why? How can it be? I don't know how there's a threat. Anyway, I think that's enough. But basically, the point is they were told to stand down. They were told the time at which to stand down from 5:30 to 9. And Hamas started their operation at 6:30. The point is, Israel knew this was happening. And they let it happen. And I can remember like a week or two after, everyone's theorizing, well, wait a second, I thought Israel had the greatest intelligence system and security, and they knew everything that was going on. And if you remember, Israel announced, oh, we just were caught by surprise. We didn't, and everyone's like, wait.
Well, I was going to say that Gaza is the most surveilled population in the world.
Right.
And instinctively, I knew that this was allowed to happen, and now there's proof.
Now
I knew it was allowed because they knew if they let them in once, they could do whatever they wanted.
Right.
And that is exactly what happened. And they've been doing it for going on 2 years now.
Right.
And it's almost over.
Yeah. And
not because we've beaten them, not because we've stopped them, because they have literally flattened Gaza and they are starving the entire population, which all of that is war crimes.
And they killed their own to do it. To make it worse so that the numbers would go up. And, think about how I've said this so often. Wait, they're starving the people. There are hostages in there. They're starving the hostages, right? None of it really makes any sense because they have one goal, and that is complete extermination.
It was
and
never about the hostages.
No, of course not. Otherwise, they wouldn't starve the place. Right. And they wouldn't bomb it. I mean, yeah. So hopefully this should help for people to understand what Israel has been doing from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm really glad you found that, because it confirms my suspicion all along.
Yep.
I mean, you look at our own country. 9/11 happened, right? People at the top level knew there was a threat. I think they knew it was going to happen. I think they allowed it to happen, because what happened right after that? The Patriot Act.
Yes. And now there are people theorizing that Israel was involved. I don't have any proof of that one, but I mean, now the proof is starting to come out that all the 4 wars were specifically at, maybe you have seen some things, but is all the wars that came, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, that is all part of the greater Israel project. So again, these are all of the wars that we've been doing are for Israel.
Yeah, Jeffrey Sachs talks about that in the thing we had a few weeks back. He said,
Right.
Israel handed us a list of 7 countries that they want us to take out for them so they can expand their Jewish state, I guess. Israel, Jewish supremacy. Nobody should be a supreme anything. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't believe in supremacy. I believe in equal rights.
And of course, it's a white supremacy. It isn't, Ethiopian Jews. I've said it a couple times. They're not part of this. Oh, I wonder why. Yeah, no, it's white supremacy, folks. It's just done in that's what America, the history of our country is too. Wiping out the Native Americans was white supremacy. And they're just trying to continue it. And to continue it in this day and age when we've advanced so far and gotten so, the awareness of human rights, and they're still getting away with it. I mean,
well, I did see video and read reports a long time ago that there was a van full of men in New Jersey had stationed themselves in a place where they could see the towers, got out, watched, waited for the planes to hit, and then cheered. It was later discovered they were Mossad agents.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, we can look that up. I don't know if it's still available, but I remember seeing the video. I remember people like, who are these people? And I think recently they found out they were Mossad. They identified them.
Okay.
So Israel had a hand in our 9/11. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah. No. And that's
at least they knew.
No, and it's really important that you say it. And I could almost guarantee you're not going to find it, because I can't find things from 3 weeks ago that happened. I mean, they scrub stuff like crazy. So no, it's really important that we pass on the information of things that we've seen in the past, because it may not
be findable now.
Yeah.
I know I watched.
Yeah.
Alexandria's got a great comment here I want to read. All I'm saying is the last president who gave Israel pushback on their nuclear program was Kennedy, and we all know what happened to him.
Right. And they're saying that too, the Kennedy assassination. But again, we're going through a learning process. I did not know that the first started in 1948. I didn't know that. We're learning as we go. So so that's completely, absolutely.
Well, and Kennedy wanted them to register as a foreign agent, APAC.
Right.
And I believe Robert as well, Bobby Kennedy as well.
Okay.
And funny, they're both dead.
Yeah.
What is the next thing? Oh, the Yemen story. So I can bring that up, Hazel. I got it.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to read through these. And, Yemen is my favorite country on the planet because they are the only ones that actually do things, and I've been really online screaming at China and Russia, because as much as I talk, these countries are so great, they're not doing actually anything to save the starving people. They make comments. So anyway, Yemen's Ansarallah announced that they will impose a total ban on Egyptian shipping through Bab al-Mandab until Egypt opens up the Rafah crossing for humanitarian aid into Gaza. Yes, absolutely.
This is the pressure that's needed.
Right. Absolutely.
And we had for a minute a story about, regular Egyptian civilians storming a police station, basically what are you doing?
Right, because they want to open up the crossing so that they can get food in. Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes, people who are closer to the area, it's good to hear that they're trying to take actions. It's so, and let me see if I can read this. Here goes my face in the camera again.
Oh, I can read it. I've got it here. Oh,
thank
if
you.
you want.
Go ahead.
I said I could, and then
Yeah. Then you can't. All right, I'll do it. In reliance upon Allah Almighty. It is kind of interesting. Every political statement has Allah in there. In reliance upon Allah Almighty, the Yemeni armed forces have decided to escalate their supportive military operations and begin implementing the fourth phase of the naval blockade against the Israeli enemy. This phase includes targeting all ships belonging to any company that deals with Israeli ports, regardless of the company's nationality or the location of the vessel, wherever Yemen forces can reach. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically they're taking military actions, which is what we need. We need military actions. Yeah. And, again, the 12-day war, they keep saying that they're going to go after Iran again. And, I just heard, actually, it was on Colonial Outcast, that a guy thanked the I'm going to forget their names, the Houthis, I think, for the Iron Dome falling apart, which I thought it was simply Yemen. I'm not sure. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, Iran showed what they are capable of militarily. So if Netanyahu convinces the U.S. to go back and do more, we'll see. But yeah, there has to be. And like we said in the earlier post from Cecilia, there's absolutely no way why we can't storm the place. But I just wish they had hired more Green Berets who had gone in there and taken over and stormed the place. I mean,
So Scott, can you check the private chat real quick? But
yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. The Houthis and Yemen have been consistently bombed by Saudi Arabia with our support and our military presence, and that's what we do. We do proxy war now. We don't fight directly, and then
Right.
we don't tell the American people that we're sending soldiers over there. Don't tell the American people we're sending contractors, and apparently private citizens are being asked to go over there and hurt Gazans. Like, do the rules not apply anymore? They certainly apply to people like me and you. We get in, we've got so many like limits on what we can say and what we can do and where we can go and how we can act. I'm done pretending. I'll do what I want and let the chips fall where they may. That's why I'm running for lieutenant governor. It's going to be hard. I've never ran for office before, but this moment in history calls for people to step up that have never done things before, and that's why we're Green Party.
There was again, it was Colonial Outcasts. We're gonna have to show it next week. But Greg made an interesting. We've had a couple of people say yes, we're in World War III, but he brought a different perspective, which I thought was really interesting, and it was how it's I don't know if he called it level 5 or something. How techie nerds like to do that kind of stuff, but he just said that that part of the war that's going on is our battle with information, and how we are fighting. We are soldiers here in terms of, and I know we're going to cover it next week, how Facebook is just shutting down people like crazy through Instagram mostly. But, and again, they've got a department just for Israel. So it's the only country that gets its own special Mark Zuckerberg attention. And so we are in a battle. I mean, people get their accounts deleted and you go somewhere else, and through, our YouTube shows and stuff for spreading the word, we're in a battle right now. It's just more information and tech that's going on. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up some of these comments.
Yes.
Mitsunagi, thank you for this comment. Egypt purchases gas oil from Israel. They don't produce enough to meet their own needs. So here we go back again to resources,
right,
and the horribleness of fossil fuels.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys live in a country where there's tons of sun. Why aren't you doing solar? I don't understand. Just do it.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue that we need
Yeah.
to do some pieces on because
Yeah, we're trying to, like, if the news will calm down just a hair, do a segment on environmentalism in the next week's show. But I also wanted to say, yeah, Alexandria has Greek heritage. Shame on all surrounding nations not doing anything. Cough, cough, Greece looking at you.
it's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I know. I think I mentioned before I haven't done a graphic yet, but I was like call out to Yemen and China specifically to do drone food drops because there's no way that we have the technology. Let me put it that way, because military drones go that far, especially from Yemen, they could do it. And I understand dropping foods from airplanes is a little crazy because it falls on people, but I mean drones, so they land, right? so it just, but Cecilia's right. Just drive through the fucking checkpoints. Just drive those trucks through. Stop it. I mean, come on.
Commandeer an armored vehicle and just get in there, man.
Come on, Green Berets. Come on, Green Berets who are over there who have been assigned. And do you realize what you were getting into? Oh, God.
Just a quick note. Hazel's going to need your help with adding things, but I'll keep talking about comments and we can bring up the next subject is ready.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that.
Okay.
Just in an unorganized way, I am.
So, Lewis Gordon, welcome to the show. Says, right, I always supported a 2-state solution until 24. Now I'm for a 1-state solution because Palestinians should be able to vote and return to their country.
Thank you, Lewis. That is so true. All of us have been going through an education system. Oh, 2-state solution. That does sound fine. No. Somebody, even on Colonial Outcast, they said it was like putting it in formaldehyde. I mean, it's not going to go away. Israel is a problem. It needs to be dismantled the same way that South Africa's government was dismantled. We can't. No, there's no such thing as 2 states. Not with this state always ready to kill the other state. No.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why we talk about this so much here, here's one reason. Americans care, of course, and there are some very brave souls like Mr. Chris Smalls, which I have enormous respect and affection for, even though I've never met him. It's one of my goals. I'd love to meet him someday. He started the union, the Staten Island unionization, because he worked at Amazon and they were not caring about their safety during COVID. And they never cared about their safety that much to begin with, but he stood up to them. He was fired, but he started his own union because of that. But he was on the Freedom Flotilla, and when everybody else was taken prisoner, he was severely beaten.
Yeah.
Nobody else was. Funny, he was the only person of color.
Right.
So their racism was on full display.
Yep.
And, this is who we're dealing with. They cannot be reasoned with. They just must be stopped.
Right.
Whatever it takes, because they've gone off the deep end. They are a threat to humanity, like literally a threat to human beings and the survival of our planet and all humans on it, because, Israel is also a nuclear power, even though they've never allowed anyone in to examine their stuff.
Right.
But they sit there and point the finger at Iran. Like, oh, we didn't get enough, inspectors in there and you're still doing bad things, even though Iran has been completely transparent.
And that's probably the number one danger to the survival of humanity, is that Israel has nuclear. And again, that was Kennedy, right? Trying to stop that. So that's the number one danger to our planet. Mm-hmm. Well, it's in a race with the climate catastrophe. Let's say it that way.
It's the most immediate, urgent, it'll be fast should it happen.
Yeah, right.
Environmental catastrophe is a slow, steady escalation that will eventually affect every single person on the planet, and animal and plant life and everything. The Earth will still be here. We won't.
I'm in Chicago, and Thursday was Chicago had the lowest air quality in the entire globe. and that's due to the Canadian fires that are going wild. And there's a huge one in Arizona that is going wild. And so we are back to fire season. It's just
It never goes away now.
I know. Yeah. Air quotes.
Did you want to bring up the next thing? Chris Smalls at JFK, and yes, please play the audio. The audio is fantastic.
Okay.
You can tell his people were very, very worried about him.
Well,
Like,
and I
bring
wonder,
Dodger back.
Hazel, if it's the Wi-Fi, because we're getting a nice slideshow, but it was actually video. But no, that was perfect. That was so great. And again, same as Greta. Some people really, you put your life on the line. I mean, Chris put his life on the line. I mean, look what happened to him in Israeli jail. He was beaten, and so yeah.
So
We're
for
dealing
those
with
of us
Israel
that
here.
I was just gonna say, for those of us that were born with this skin color, we need to utilize it in every way possible to support others that aren't white, and to give them equal rights and stand up for them and stand between them and things that are happening to them. It is our obligation as human beings. For now, we still have a small amount, it's not much, small amount of privilege. We need to utilize it. So everybody listening, please do so. If you see somebody getting harassed, step in, because they're going to be less likely to do something to you that they will do to someone else.
Yes,
I do it all the time. Someday it might bite me, but that's what my heart calls for. So the next story was about Colombia. I think this is yours, Scott. You can go for it.
Well, again, it's unreal, the level of privilege. White privilege. Weren't we talking about white privilege?
I think we were.
Columbia University to pay $21 million to Jewish employees whose feelings were hurt when the Free Palestine protests came around. And they're calling it anti-Semitism. And again, it's that pathetic little trope that they're trying to push, as if, people get threatened because you're trying to push for the freedom of another people. I mean, it's just, it's but again, reparations. That I saw this on Sammy Sams and Nick Cruz, and they are always talking about, why is it that African Americans don't get reparations? Well, how is this instantaneous reparations? And for these horrible crime of hearing people outside saying Free Palestine, so they're giving it to their all employees. $21 million.
Yeah, so that's like the safe spacers kind of. That's why people don't like the
woke world.
the woke world.
Well,
Because, I don't feel safe. Well, I'm sorry, Palestinians are literally not safe.
literally,
Their families are being murdered.
literally,
And
right.
they're being attacked here in this country, and so are immigrants, by the way.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And citizens that don't look white.
Right.
They're just being snatched off the street and kidnapped by the IDF.
And people
and the budget just went.
And people who are here through legal means, if they are a person of color, whether that be Arab, whether that be Mexican, there are a lot of people who are here with the right paperwork. And again, the issue is paperwork. That's what we're, throwing people into jail, handcuffing them, and sending them off to, who knows. The conditions of those prisons in those other countries has to be horrific because of paperwork. That's why obviously they're doing it because they're racists, and Trump is headlining the racist brigade that comes through this country and kidnaps people. But
because they are the new Nazis.
Yep.
Sorry. Unfortunately, we live in a fascist state now.
Right. Absolutely.
It was already semi. Now it's full on. They are literally picking citizens off the street
Right.
and deporting them to God knows where.
Right.
Probably to be tortured and mistreated or killed. We don't even
Absolutely
know.
mistreated. And I mean, alligator Alcatraz, I mean, to be mistreated horribly. Like the conditions there are so disgusting. And again, I mean, it's just horrific. It's
And I'm sorry, the courts and the Constitution is also a piece of paper that is not being respected or enforced. Laws are only as good as the enforcement of it. And I'm calling on all of our law enforcement and our military. You need to remember your oath. Your oath is for police, is to protect and serve. A lot of you joined because you thought protect and serve meant the people of the United States in your community. That is not what they're asking you to do. You are being used to protect and serve the system that is oppressing the people of the United States and the world.
Right.
And same goes for the military. When you signed up, you made an oath to the Constitution and your country before any of the people that are running it. Even the people here in this country have gone off and done things that are war crimes, and we'll get into that in a few. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it
is your
does,
duty.
and it's your revolutionary duty too. When the orders from above are what these orders are now, it is your responsibility as in the human rights way to say no to it, to, you know, join our side, to not be a part of it.
Mhm.
It's yeah.
Yep. Because you can be held accountable for following an illegal order, just so you know. And trust me when I tell you, it's always the person way down the chain
Yep.
that gets
Oh
in the
my
most
God.
trouble.
That is true.
So that guy that was on Breaking Points, he said, I did not fire a single shot. I did not throw one flashbang grenade. I didn't do tear gas. I did nothing. Because from day one, I saw what it was. And I did not want to participate. So I think he basically went in and to expose them, and then he resigned.
Okay.
But they're attacking him like crazy. But he's not the only one. There's some people that haven't released their information.
Yeah.
But yeah. So now I think we're kind of moving on to, well, this is like the transitional one, to the late Democratic Party. I kind of see that in two ways. One is predictive and one is current. But I'll go ahead and put this up.
And this is Yasmin, yeah.
Yasmin.
And it comes from a different place. Yasmin's the one who shared it. I'm friends with Yasmin, who's a wonderful writer and a post-duopoly writer. Yasmin's wonderful. But I think it actually, the source is somewhere else and the text is so small I can't read it. But I'll read it. If you're wondering why everyone's suddenly advocating for Gaza, including politicians who stayed silent as their own bombs fell, it's because calling a famine is safer than calling it a genocide. Famine sounds like misfortune. They use that term all the time. Genocide sounds like guilt. Famine lets them send aid without admitting harm, grieve publicly without naming the perpetrators, appear human without being held accountable. Genocide demands the truth. It forces us to name the violence. It forces us to name who made it possible. And once you do that, you can't keep defending it. You can't keep pretending you didn't know. Famine preserves power. Genocide threatens it. And of course, it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's the first Republican to name it genocide. And then it was
that's the wrong one.
And there's a meme that shows Bernie Sanders who won't name it. He says, what was his excuse? Some legal term. Well, genocide's a legal term. My God.
Yeah.
What a Zionist he is.
And
He
the
still
ICC
says,
and the ICJ said it is.
to this,
So you have legal precedents to say it. What you really mean is I can't threaten my career and my position and what little good he thinks he's doing. He's freaking delusional at this point.
he's not
That
doing
he's
anything.
doing any good if he believes that in any place in his person. I think he knows he's not. I
Of
think
course.
he's comfortable where he is.
Of course.
And he has been doing the same thing for a long time.
Yeah. Stop giving
Oh.
Bernie excuses. He's not delusional. He knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. He knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. And it's a bill about defensive versus offensive arms. I mean, come on.
No.
That's disgusting. Nothing is defensive when you're committing a genocide. And he says they have the right to defend themselves. They don't.
Still?
They're an occupying force. They're not a real country. They're an occupying force. They don't have the right to anything. Ugh.
Well,
Bernie Sanders.
He's acting delusional because it's a disconnect between reality and the words coming out of your mouth.
He is doing it to try to save the Democratic Party because that's what he's paid to do.
They cannot be saved.
Well, but that's his job. Keep people in the Democratic Party. That is his job.
So I know you had some trepidation about me putting this one in here, but and I see you in the chat and Facebook. I don't have money, dude. And I don't donate to people I don't know. My apologies. I'm barely hanging on myself most of the time, so I'm sorry, but that's not a thing. However,
and what are we sharing here?
The Jon Stewart, which
yeah,
because I knew it would make you go off.
Oh.
But even the conversation is this is where I'm coming from. It's even hitting them. The people that were 100% like, oh, anti-Semitic, it's complicated, blah, blah, blah. But now they're coming on board finally. But now it's almost too late. Now, will they do anything more? I doubt it. But I think this is worth checking out just to get y'all's opinion on it.
And I have a moral clarity about what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing, I think, as someone who was raised in Judaism, that's what taught me that this is wrong. What I'm seeing happening in Gaza is wrong. I feel like a crazy person. I feel like I'm watching something that is so self-evidently inhumane and horrific. And to be told that I have to shut up because I risk the Jewish state by speaking out.
I mean, even Israel's leading human rights organization, B'Tselem, has just come out with a report saying they believe this is genocide. In Israel-Palestine, it's Jews who all enjoy legal supremacy and citizenship, and Palestinians who are denied basic rights.
I saw an article in the Times, Bret Stephens, I think, and his argument was this can't be a genocide because Israel's so strong they could kill them much quicker.
Right.
And I thought, well, that's the most cynical description of a military siege and a purposeful starvation that I've ever seen in my life.
Right. For almost 3 months early this year, Israel cut off all food, all medicine, all water into the Gaza Strip.
It's a siege. It's a military siege.
Yes, that we are deeply complicit in. It could not happen without us.
Then why can't we use our leverage? Surely the United States can't believe that this is in the best interest of the region. And when Donald Trump says something like finish the job, what job is he talking about? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, the Trump plan made it pretty clear. The mass expulsion of all Palestinians from Gaza. And so it seems to me, if we want to remember our history, if we want to honor those in our own families and of our people who were slaughtered and who were genocided, who were starved to death while nobody in the world cared, our obligation is to care. Our obligation is to risk something.
Yeah, our obligation is to care. And it's even breaking through the blue bubble.
Yeah, but it's again.
Finally.
Yeah, but it's all qualified. You know, he didn't mention that 95% of Judaism in America is for this, right? He didn't mention any of that.
Well, and he acts like he's just a guy.
And he says like, and the New York Times says, as if why are people still giving legitimacy to the New York Times? And right, what the guy said was horrific. They've been saying horrific things for years now, since day one. They got a Pulitzer for a huge lie. Why are you still recognizing the New York Times if it's something legit?
He's in the vote blue bubble.
Right.
But the bubble is bursting. This is what I'm saying. It's
Right.
starting to burst. It's starting to leak some air. And Jon Stewart, if you ever see this, that's not enough. You have a platform, you have power, you have money. You need to start doing programs like ours and putting real pressure in places that you know that it'll work.
But he won't see this. And the point is that, again,
I'll
they're
send it to
bringing
him.
it from the Trump perspective. Trump said,
I know.
okay, did they not mention what Biden did? They didn't mention there where the genocide started with the Democratic Party. They won't mention that. He had the most horrific show promoting Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice that I have ever seen. It was the most disgusting thing. So, yeah, I don't think, again, can't we use our leverage?
You're not
No.
using yours.
No, right. Exactly.
That's what I'd say to him. Who's this we?
Right.
I'm
Right.
looking at you, John.
Right. No, they're going to try to frame it as some Trump thing when they started this.
And that brings us to our next graphic. I don't see it down there right now, but
Okay. I've been kind of messing up with these graphics.
well, it's here it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
These 20 Senate Democrats voted to continue arming Israel while they are committing a genocide, while they are starving what's left of 2.1 million people and half are children. Take a good damn look at their faces. All of them need someone to defeat them in 2026. And if they're not running in 2026, call for the resignation. This is all over the country. I'm calling on every community to start a campaign right now, today, to remove these people from office. They are not fit to serve.
And we don't mean primary beat them.
No.
We do not need another Democrat. Okay, folks, we do not need one. And we're going to I think our next graphic has to do with Biden in 2021.
Oh, it had the little cool GIF. If you wanted to show that one, let me see if I can take this down. Is
Oh,
that GIF
yeah.
available? I don't know if it's in there, Hazel.
The
I
APAC
want
gift.
you to die for Israel.
And I think it had, yeah.
Yeah, she's getting ready to play it.
Is there audio on it, Hazel? I thought there was some kind of music or something for what I remember.
The
Anyway.
events of recent weeks may have helped to illuminate that challenge for some, but the dimensions of its threat have loomed large on the horizon for many years. Whatever our hopes may be for the future, for reducing this threat or living with it, there is no escaping either the gravity or the totality of its challenge to our survival and to our security. A challenge that confronts us in unaccustomed ways in every sphere of human activity. This deadly challenge imposes upon our society two requirements of direct concern, both to the press and to the president. Two requirements that may seem almost contradictory in tone, but which must be reconciled and fulfilled if we are to meet this national peril. I refer first to the need for far greater public information, and second, to the need for far greater official secrecy. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweigh the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. But I do ask every publisher, every editor, and every newsman in the nation to re-examine his own standards.
Yeah. It's
Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard in charge now. If you noticed, Chantel Brown, the new face of the New Dems, took some money. I saw Nikki Bedinsky, which is here in Illinois. I saw Tammy Duckworth.
Yep.
Who else did you know? It's Kirsten Gillibrand, Amy Klobuchar, Tim Kaine that ran with Hillary Clinton.
I think the point is they all do. I mean, there's very few that don't. And somebody is actually even critical of, maybe it was Nick, critical of Track APAC because they said there's still, there's a couple of green ones for like AOC. And he was joking, she just does it for the love of the game, right? So she still votes towards Israel, but supposedly she doesn't have any APAC money. But
she's
but she's part of that system. She will.
Them.
Right. And she'll do whatever, again, that whole thing of, oh, I only voted for the defensive stuff. The defensive stuff allows the genocide.
Sorry.
So
I call complete bullshit.
Oh, God.
You knew what you were doing. You knew you had to do it or else lose your position. So even if you don't take the money, you still owe fealty to them.
And she wants to run for president. So that's also what she's doing.
And Brad Schneider in District 10 for May of 2025, $87,000.
Yep. Brad Schneider. Wonderful. And Alexandria is going to have to
look up my congressperson.
But the point is, they all do. That's why they're there. That's why they're there, folks.
So the next is from the New Republic. With the help of 19 Democrats, the Senate rejected two resolutions Wednesday, but it ended up 27-70. Oh, yeah, that was believe this is the one that's, it's just defensive. So, but 19 Democrats still, that's not enough. Why isn't it all of them? I don't know.
Why are you asking that? We know why.
Oh, I know. No, it's rhetorical.
Yeah, well,
I'm being facetious.
I even have an issue with the question being asked because, again, there is this mentality that people still want to look to the Democrats.
Yeah.
And we've got to get rid of that.
Well, that's the point I'm making to the audience that still thinks that there's a chance.
Yeah, right.
It should be 100% against it. They should be fighting with every fiber of their being. They're not. And the people that voted to keep arming Israel anyway, blocking at least one of Sanders' resolutions, Michael Bennett, Richard Blumenthal, Cory Booker, Maria Cantwell, Chris Coons, Catherine Cortez Masto, John Fetterman, Kirsten Gillibrand, Maggie Hassan, John Hickenlooper, John Ossoff, Alex Padilla, Gary Peters, Jack Reed, Jackie Rosen, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, Mark Warner, and Ron Wyden.
And that's the other thing that makes me sick about people who vote Democrat. I have to correct myself in saying not Democrats. I mean, people who vote Democrat, is that they seem to be okay when their party of 400 politicians has like maybe 2 or 3 people that seem to vote okay. How do you accept that? I mean, if you worked for a company that was the Nazis of all time company, and you go in there and you work for them, and you're like, well, there's 1 or 2 of the people working there who are not Nazis. Oh, why are you working in that company? Why are you working at the company where 97% of the people are Nazis? Well, because there's 1 or 2 that are okay. What are you doing?
So all this performative stuff, all the, what is it? The filibuster on the floor. It's PR, people. It's a show.
Complete sham.
You gotta stop believing them. They're lying. They're lying with every action, with every word that comes out of their mouth.
All right. Cory Booker made some big speech just 2 days ago or something that he votes for the arms. And it was, again, all these people are such frauds. They are all such frauds.
So Krystal and Saagar that left the Hill, they do this show called Breaking Points, which my friend in California just adores. For me, it's a little tame, but this one wasn't, because Krystal sometimes can get it good. So this is Alyssa Slotkin that you just saw took money from AIPAC, right?
Yep.
If you started at 1737, yeah, and then it goes to 2028.
What I would ask is, listen, I'm a YouTuber. You know, I have my words. That's all I have.
Yeah.
But you're a United States senator. Like you're not the president, but you have power. So what are you going to do? Because so far what we've seen, I mean, you voted for some of the aid that's been used to massacre children and innocents. You know, you have backed Israel, as far as I can tell, you know, from your voting record at almost every turn. You voted for a definition of anti-Semitism that would, you know, codify anti-Zionism as anti-Semitism. You voted as a member of the House to sanction the ICC for indicting Benjamin Netanyahu, who you just admitted is a war criminal, you know, by your own words. So are you going to join Senator Angus King, Senator Bernie Sanders in saying no more aid to this country that is committing war crimes against innocent civilians?
I think the first thing, if you're asking about what to do with power, and I would offer that right now Democrats own nothing in Washington. So
don't play powerless with me. You're a United States senator.
I understand,
there are things you can do.
In terms of who runs our foreign policy, I just think it's interesting, right? That there was a ton of protests when Democrats were in charge.
There was a protest in Manhattan yesterday.
Okay. I think it's fair to say, just to be honest, that back and forth, like the number of protests that go on now versus before.
Well, they were part of your political coalition.
Well, that's
right?
I mean, Senator Slotkin,
that's fair.
Obviously, I'm here.
Yeah.
I was very upset over the Biden administration policy. And as you can tell, I'm very upset over the Trump administration policy.
Yeah.
So let's deal not in strawman, but me and here.
In terms of so the tools that I have, the tools that we have in general, to me, the most important thing is a pressurized campaign to get aid into people who are starving. That to me is the number one, because that's the one is urgent and today. And that.
But will you cut off aid to Israel as long as they're committing crimes against humanity?
There is a difference between a weapon to protect a country from incoming missiles versus other type. Offensive and defensive weapons are different.
So would you support offensive weapons ban? Like, would you stop any offensive aid to Israel?
Certainly, to me, would be a place to look, but I'm not going to cut off a blanket next sale on a defensive weapon that comes through. No.
I also reject that because, for example, if Senator Slotkin, if you were asked to support defensive weapons for Iran, defensive weapons for Russia, you wouldn't back that.
No, but Iran, but
they're defensive. They're just protecting civilians, right? So how is it different?
But because Israel's being shot at.
So is
Iran.
Yeah.
So is Russia.
Ukraine's shooting at Russia right now.
I'm sorry. This is the difference between allies, partners, and adversaries.
Why is it an ally? What are they doing right now that just makes it an ally?
I think allied relationships, just like Lithuania.
Wow. Okay, I had watched this. Oh, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic.
It's the whole thing is great, and it's all of the stuff that we show is all the links are in our show notes on YouTube. Most of them are on Facebook, but Facebook is, authoritarian. They only let us put 10 links in. But she just
gave it.
Let's not do straw man. Nope. You have power. Don't be sitting there telling me you're powerless.
Why not defensive for Iran and Russia? Oh, good for them. Good for them.
Oh, well, why not? Why not stop at least the offensive ones? Well, I have to look at that. Like, you ain't been looking at it for 2 years, bitch. Oh man,
that was good. That was
Krystal. Good. Kudos, man.
Yeah,
she smoked her.
Yeah, and it's funny because that was what I saw. I never watched it, but she got so much for this one. I mean, I do get pissed at her because, especially when comes times for the presidential election. I think she was for Jill Stein for about 3 days, and again, it was some horrific thing that had happened in Israel. I can't remember what it was.
And then they just get sucked back
into that. And then they go
back
in, and then they go back because it just seems like the presidential one is where they succumb to the pressure. They succumb to the pressure because I think they feel like their careers are over. But I wish they would be a lot braver in that situation. But good for her. Wow, those were excellent questions.
So yeah, so good. Oh, I lost track of because I'm just still in awe of her just taking it to her.
And they both did. He gave the other one. What about defensive for Iran and Russia?
Yeah. What about that, Miss Slotkin?
Oh, there's a difference between a defensive and offensive. Oh, but these are our partner. Yeah, how is Israel our partner? I mean, yeah, they just keep going at her.
And
Yeah.
here's somebody pushing directly back. I think it's Hakeem Jeffries. I haven't looked into it enough. You can barely see him. But I think this is on Instagram. Congressman, are you afraid of going to The Hague for your war crimes? I don't know if you can make it bigger or not, but
Even if not, it's okay. It's an audio thing.
Someone who has proudly taken $550,000 from AIPAC. Do you think it's possible that you're able to side with the dying Palestinians at this point? Where are we headed if these people will not recover from the atrocities that we are paying for? $10 million in this district specifically are being used to starve men, women, children. Israel bombs hospitals. Israel bombs kindergartens. Israel kills journalists. Israel imprisons doctors and nurses. Israel starves babies. Israel withholds aid and shoots people trying to eat. What can you say, Congressman, that you're going to do moving forward to assure that you're not held accountable for war crimes? Because frankly, the U.S. government are partaking in this willingly. Given that you are directly and willingly funding this genocide, are you scared that you're going to go to jail? Are you afraid that eventually when international law gets withheld, are you afraid that you'll be landed in The Hague? Genuinely.
As I said before, I have voted for defensive weapons for Israel. Okay, all right, and that is where, frankly, I've been drawing the line. Their use of these very, the 2,000-pound bombs
Can you talk about the Palestinians in your district? Say Palestine. Just say the word. Just talk about the people of Palestine.
I have spoken.
They're starving to death. Talk about them. Just talk about them. You won't speak about them. I asked about them. I want to know why you're funding the country doing things.
Yeah, I can't tell if that was Hakeem. It didn't sound like him, but yeah.
no, it's a congressperson.
Yeah.
And she, like, the longer she spoke, the louder she got. She's mad. And I'm like, that is exactly how I feel. I want to go yell at people.
And I like how she says our district spends this much money. To break it down to a more local is a really, really good way to look at it.
Mhm.
Because, right, it is our tax money. And at some point you can break it down to the, to where all the money comes from. And it's sick. It is our, it's our money that's killing these people. That's sick, sick thing about it. But yeah, it's too bad the audio isn't too good because it's a huge room and so the person was far away. But I love when we see that exactly. These people need to be, really harassed because, and then please vote for the Green Party candidate if we have somebody up against them. I know it's difficult. We don't really talk a lot about the difficulty of being even able to go up against them because, again, the Democrats and Republicans have colluded in the states to make it extremely difficult. Illinois is probably one of the hardest, and it's going to be quite a task for us to get candidates and to reach established party status, which is the code that they use to deny us and to make our ballot access requirements over 10 times the amount of the Democrats and Republicans. And so it's difficult for us to go up against these folks even. So
it is. Hazel needs you to find that next clip, but
okay,
we can do the following one because it's related.
Okay. Can you tell me the one that I'm supposed to look
It's the
for?
hold Dems accountable. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is Chuck Taylor's version. The Biden administration knew in December a famine was underway in Gaza. They tried to alter a report on it, then ordered it deleted from the web when the authors wouldn't change it.
Right.
They knew Gazans would start dying of starvation in January but thought it made them look bad.
Yep.
Aw, poor Dems. They just look so bad for people finding out the horrible things they're doing. And
Right.
it looks like it was from the Washington Post. Yeah.
Right. They knew exactly what they're doing, folks. I mean, and the excuse was, oh, they found that there's some Hamas people in UNRWA. Well, Hamas was a political organization. They were voted in. It'd be like saying, oh, there's a couple of Republicans in UNRWA. I mean, it was a political organization, people. It's just, again, Hamas was the magic word that they could just, and they're still using it today. They're actually saying Hamas is causing the starvation. They're the ones blocking the food. Jesus Christ.
The guy that was on Breaking Points, the former Green Beret, said, I was there. I was on the ground. They don't like wear a t-shirt. He goes, everyone was unarmed and starving to death.
Right, of course.
Everyone.
And again, the lies they put out, the people who want those lies are ready to believe them and repeat them. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Did you get it in there? Is this it?
I think so.
UNRWA JPEG?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And this is from Hold Dems Accountable. I don't know the account, but don't forget, Israel is able to starve Palestinians to death because Biden-Harris defunded UNRWA. And this was a fact check by Reuters. U.S. UNRWA funding already halted in 2024, not by a Trump 2025 order. And again, that's what drives me nuts, is that I'll talk to folks who are still Democratic Party supporters, and I'll tell them this stuff that, you know, UNRWA was defunded by Democrats. They all voted it. All the senators, every single Democratic senator voted for that bill. And they just look at me like I'm making this stuff up. When it was happening, we saw it happening and we were screaming about it. We saw it and we knew what was going to happen, that starvation would eventually happen because that was the organized. They've been there for decades. They ran the whole place. They knew it. They had the system set up. They got rid of that entire organization knowing that this would be the end result, is that people would starve to death because there's no organized system. The only one that's there is Zionist run, and they want to kill the people. So it's Democrats are to blame for this, folks. They are to blame for the starvation part. Obviously it's it's
well,
both parties.
There's certain portion of our population that thinks that they're going to be okay, and they're more afraid of Trump than they are of anything, and they don't get that all of the stuff that we export will come home to bite us all in the butt. It already is, and they just have. It's a fear campaign that has worked on a certain portion of our population. You know, Trump does it too. Trump could have funded UNRWA. He didn't. You know, for all you people that thought he was going to go in there and be awesome, he didn't do that.
No.
But we are an hour and a half.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to play. So like I grew up on like Rocky and Bullwinkle and things like that. And now for something completely different.
Oh, okay.
So the Dump the Duopoly webinar, I helped backstage. I got a couple of shout outs, which was really cool. But the main thing is that Jill is still here. And so are a lot of people that have ran before. They're still out there doing the stuff and trying to get people to understand that the Green Party is not like the other two parties whatsoever. So if you want to play the Dump the Duopoly webinar 00 to 220, this is Jill's.
We're going to sort of address that totality tonight and why it is, you know, we need a political vehicle, and how do we develop that political vehicle? Because if we're just working on the issues, then we're essentially divided and conquered, because each of these are crises, and that's even without mentioning the crisis of healthcare and housing and education and debt and so on, and our health and all that. So we have a gazillion crises. If we're going to fight them effectively, we need a unifying strategy and a strategy of solidarity so that we can get to critical mass to actually fight back. And that means a political vehicle that is of, by, and for the people, that is not powered by AIPAC and Wall Street and billionaires and all of that. So we're here tonight with the strategy of building on the momentum that we came out of the 2024 presidential race with. And in that race, we emerged as the leading people-powered political party, getting 4 times the number of votes as the next biggest people-powered vote getter. We actually doubled our vote over 2020, excuse me, in spite of unprecedented political repression, with the army of lawyers trying to throw us off the ballot, with the war room that the DNC held, that spent more money than our entire campaign just to conduct smears and disinformation about us, with their unabashed advertising for infiltrators and spies in order to basically disrupt our campaign. In spite of that, we came out strong, and we came out really at the head of the pack as the only pro-worker, anti-genocide, climate emergency party able to fight its way onto the ballot for a majority of voters. So no pressure, but it's really, I think, a moral imperative for us to continue building that momentum and to do it now. And
yes. I don't know if it's bots or what it is, but there's still a campaign against Jill Stein. I mean, if I'm on Twitter, I will inadvertently see something. Where's Jill Stein? She's not doing anything. You see this all the time. And of course, it's absurd. You just go to her Twitter page. I mean, that would take all of 2 seconds to see all the stuff she's doing. And, but again, there's just massive, constant attacks of the Green Party that are completely unwarranted, but just know that they're out there, folks. It is constant.
I just been replying to our friend Brian Grigsby. Thanks for being here. He's saying that Bernie or Stewart is not the real left. I know. Jon Stewart gave that absurd softball interview to Rice and Hillary. Like you were saying, he asked nothing to make them uncomfortable. Just one big laugh fest.
It was gross. It was really gross. That, I don't know. Yeah. What was.
And hang on. Oh, sorry. Grabbed the wrong one. When it jumps, it jumps. Bernie will always be the Judas goat to guide idealists to their doom.
Yes.
Couldn't agree more.
He knows he's got his role, boy. He really has it.
Bernie is worse in so many ways. He lied to millions and convinced us he could win and change the system. He fooled me twice, and now I see him clearly. It's why I'm Green Party now.
Right.
I mean, all the stuff that they run on, people here work on it. They dug into policy and they wrote these wonderful bills and like these, fantastic platforms, super detailed. And then the Democrats are like, oh, that's nice. Let's grab that and use that.
Except they corporatize it and change it into something else that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
that'll fool the people into voting for us again.
Yeah, just use the same name, right? Yeah, horrible. Okay,
so I think we can skip the UK one. That's fine with me. But you can check it out. This is happening in the UK as well. Green Party's rising. But did you want to do the behind NATO's cognitive warfare, the gray zone?
I mean, we can. It's, I know we're running along, but sometimes we go long. But this one I think is really interesting, folks. And I'm going to just preview it by talking about, a lot of times I'll see something and it won't really apply to today. And then maybe like a year later, I'll think back, oh my God. So he was right. So that's why oh no, that's not this one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. The one I was talking about, I thought you were talking about Colonel.
Oh, okay. Well, this is on the gray zone, and this was a few years back, but they are trying to militarize our brain. It's cognitive warfare.
Okay.
And the study describes this phenomenon as the militarization of brain science, but it appears clear that NATO's development of cognitive warfare will lead to a militarization of all aspects of human society and psychology, from the most intimate of social relationships to the mind itself. Such all-encompassing militarization of society is reflected in the paranoid tone of the NATO-sponsored report, which warned of an embedded fifth column where everyone, unbeknownst to him or her, is behaving according to the plans of one of our competitors. The study makes it clear that these competitors, purportedly exploiting the consciousness of Western dissidents, are China and Russia. So think about the last 4 years. How much did we hear Russia and China are our
that's
enemies?
a perfect segue to the next one.
I won't drain it, but yeah.
But it reminded me of the 12-day war with Iran. And what does CNN cover? The sleeper cells that might be amongst us. Iranian sleeper cells. I mean, the kind of bullshit. Oh, and this was from intelligence reports. Okay, people, if you hear CNN saying intelligence reports, it is called propaganda. I mean, if they have such secretive things, why are they releasing it to the public? If it's so secretive.
You're 100% right, Alexandria. I'm running in the midterm. You're running in the midterm. And right now, the National is having their annual national meeting. We just had, 6 candidates that are running in the midterms yesterday.
That we interviewed. I mean, there's a whole lot of candidates.
There's a whole lot more.
Yeah.
They had 6 there.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to play a clip from Butch from that show.
Right. Well, first of all, there was the announcement that Kamala Harris put out that timed with her book that she is not going to run for governor of California. So it just happened on that day that we were interviewing Butch on it's the annual meeting happening right now with the Green Party. So we were asked to be interviewers of the candidates, which was really fun. It was the opening night. We had a great time. But sure enough, Butch was one of the candidates, and that had happened that day. So we asked him. So we wanted to get his response.
Yeah,
so,
this guy stole my question.
Yeah, sorry. We don't plan ahead. We just wing it. But it seemed like the obvious question. Now, I don't know, Hazel, do we have that one?
Well, and I just want to mention also the Colonel Wilkerson on Jamarl Thomas is available in our show notes.
I would still like to actually run that at the end, if you wouldn't mind, just because we were talking about it and then we didn't actually run it.
Okay.
But we could just run it at the very end. But here's the interview with Butch Ware.
And so if we understand that this moment has been waiting for the Green Party to step into the void and become that true opposition party, become that true representative of the people, then we need to be on the field to win. So I'm proudly a member of that coordinated campaign committee, not just running my own campaign at CA, but also trying to build green power across the board. And I want to take this as an opportunity to invite everyone who happens to be inside the state of California right now to consider running for state legislature. We have until March 3rd of 2026 to get that slate together. And when I move into the governor's mansion, we're going to need teammates because we're going to have enemies on both sides of the aisle. So I'm looking forward to, especially a lot of you younger folks who are looking forward to cutting your teeth in politics. We're building a strong campaign. We're well-resourced, have a great lean team that will give you the support that you need to run for state legislature. So we're collecting teammates. I was happy to play Scottie Pippen to Jill's Jordan in the 2024 electoral cycle, and looking forward to bringing teammates on as we run towards victory in CA. Peace and power, y'all.
Awesome. Okay.
So now we are getting.
Yeah, that was a super fun event. And it's on YouTube now. If folks want to go check it out.
Green Party videos, but it's also in the show notes.
Yeah.
So you can take that down. I think it's the rest of that. And let me put up Butch's banner. Go check out his website. And we support Butch, even though it's California, because California is, what did he say? Like the 5th largest economy. It's the biggest state in our country. And if California goes green, look out the other 49. I'm just saying.
It's the 5th largest economy in the world.
In the world. Yeah. And The Democrats have held it for decades, and they have destroyed it.
The homeless situation in California is just horrific. And Gavin Newsom, who they're all saying might be a presidential candidate, it's really, really creepy, the things that these people will do when they become presidential candidates. Like AOC does the worst vote imaginable to send, bombs to Israel. He goes around, he makes a kind of a video for press release of him tearing down homeless camps and tents. It's like, what the fuck?
And by the way, that's more expensive than housing people.
Right.
And it's cruel and unusual punishment for something that apparently they have lost control of how on society. Society pushed them out.
Well, rents.
Made it to where they can't survive. So
Right.
they have to live on the street in the richest country in the world.
Right. And I think there was a stat. It's primarily just rents, just expensive rents. That's really why people are homeless. And it's just horrific. And again, that goes back to Blackstone buying up all the properties and making it so expensive, along with the whole landlord culture. It's a kind of a sick thing that goes on. But
So go check out Butch's website, and also to help us here in Illinois, we are challenging $26 for 2026 or more or less, even if you only have $5 or $6. You can scan the QR up above Scott's head, or you can go to ilgp.org, donate. And because these people need to be challenged. I mean, my congressperson is Mike Bost, and he is such a Trumper. No. And, the state party is Democrat, and they only tell you what they want you to hear. They ignore all the other things that aren't getting taken care of. So please donate and help us out. I'd like to challenge everyone in our audience. You can donate to Illinois Green Party even if you don't live here. Please donate $26 today. I see 17 people in the audience. It's not that much. And even if it's less than that, maybe think about making it recurring, because we are fighting the fight. We are putting ourselves out there. So, and I think that's pretty much our show today.
I wanted to show, if we can run that
Okay.
video, maybe just to end. And I know it's a little kind of obscure, but it gives, he's just got a real sense, if we have it. I don't know, Hazel, if we have it. It was the video of Jamarl Thomas's show. And he's interviewing Colonel Wilkerson. And if we get the timestamp, unless I had the timestamp wrong.
I think you have it there, don't you?
Okay, maybe we'll give it a shot. Maybe I had it wrong because Colonel's over there, but we'll see. But yeah, he just talks about, Jamarl asked him whether he thinks that we're in World War III, and this was his response.
Do a nuclear war, Trump.
And Jamarl, what Hegseth is working on right now, I have to say that Hegseth is working on it, because otherwise, why are his generals doing what they're doing? Is expanding the war against Russia, because you had this airborne idiot, and I say airborne idiot because I know the airborne in the United States Army, and they have the brains of a pickle. You have this General Donahue going up there and saying, and he's got Ukrainians working for him in terms of this effort, clandestine effort at the moment, but he insinuated it could go out overtly anytime in Kaliningrad, which is absolutely as existential as Ukraine was as a member of NATO to Russia. So we're going to spread the war to the Baltic Sea, because this is a place where Russia has said very categorically it's sacrosanct. We have an agreement with Lithuania, rail and highway, so they can reach from Russia and Belarusia into Kaliningrad. That's their warm water port, if you will, access on the Atlantic. And we're trying to challenge that and shut it down. That's a possibility too. So we're trying to spread this because Ukraine has gone sour on us.
Yeah, there would have been invasion of Russia at that
And
point.
all you have to do is just go and take a look in this so-called big, beautiful bill that we have not talked about as much in public, and what that budget, the DOD budget, has increased to.
$1 trillion.
Yeah.
$1 trillion. But there's a larger question for this. And what time is it? okay, this is probably going to be the last question that's associated with this that I am fascinated by. So when this war started,
which war?
The Ukraine war, yeah. I kept asking, what was it for? And the further on we got into it, I started to ask the question, how far are they willing to go? Meaning there's a precipice that we are coming to that is, it's one thing 2 years ago, but now with articles like that, with that CNN is reporting, by the way, these are the same people who are like, Russians are fighting with shovels and they don't have any morale. Okay, sure, sure. 700 drones a day, sure. But there's a precipice that we're coming to as a country, and frankly, as a world, where the US and Europe are either going to have to say, okay, we lost, we take our ball and go home, and we deal with, let's say, the diplomatic consequences of investing so much of our blood and treasure, or at the very least our treasure, and our humility, to losing a war with the Russians, meaning NATO has been around for like 50 years. And in beefing itself up to fight the Soviet Union, well, Russia's not even the Soviet Union, and to lose on the battlefield in such a way, or do they get further involved? And if they get further involved at some point, I mean, the 10-day thing is nonsense, but at some point, that escalation will get to a point where there is no more escalation. It is kinetic in the way that you have to deal, because there's nothing else that you can do between, meaning there's no space left in regards to escalating in a way that doesn't necessarily become kinetic. Do you think we get to that point? And Colonel Wilkerson, I'll start with you, and Dennis will bring you in on that after.
I think we're already there, Jamal. I think we're in the opening stages of World War III. Call it what you will, a global conflict starting regionally, but we're in the open stages. And it all has to do with the strategic backdrop that China is pushing now 4 base road initiatives. One into the Arctic, that is the freshest one into Ukraine, one into the Central Asian avenue that will be the top, if you will, the northern part of the downward route along the Persian Gulf, and then another one into Iran along the southern periphery. And we're trying to stop that. We know that those Chinese efforts are going to end the American empire. Categorically going to end it. We have 2 choices. We can put someone smart in the White House and deal with that in an accommodating way, compete with it strategically and otherwise, and deal with it in a peaceful, diplomatic way. Or we can contest it to our death, and our death will come when we use nuclear weapons, because we won't go into that night quietly. We'll use nuclear weapons ultimately to stop this change of power in the world. That's what's happening. And we're trying to stop it. And it's absurd that we're trying to stop it. First of all, that we're trying to stop it, period. Second, that we're doing it with a circus clown in the White House.
Okay, that's good. Thanks. I think I had it separated into 2 because Jamal could talk and talk and talk. So I'm sorry about how long that one was. I wanted to cut out his immediate question, but I think the point that the reason I wanted to share that is Colonel Wilkerson knows his military, he knows his U.S. government, and what he is seeing is that we're going to expand in Russia. We're not going to be happy with the Ukraine loss, that we're going to keep going, and that we are going to try to stop China. And, you already hear it. And just like we flooded Ukraine with arms during that whole period of Trump's, where they were trying to get him out of office, what's that called? The Impeach. Thank you. During that whole period, the backstory was us flooding Ukraine with arms. We're doing that to Taiwan right now. And again, it's just his idea that, they've got plans with the Belt and Road that are basically going to end our economic dominance of the world. And we're not going to stand for it. We're going to, and that's the future, folks. I hate to say this, but that's our future unless we can get rid of this government. So.
And how do you do that? You donate to the Illinois Green Party, or you donate to Butch Ware. I put the link in the chat. It's right there on your screen. There's a QR up in the corner. I'm probably pointing the wrong way. It's over there, probably.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I am done with this, business as usual. We are in an emergency. Our country has turned fascist right before our eyes, and they will not stop. It will not. Our seas will not protect us. Or
No.
it's here now. So we have a slim opportunity with, like Jill said, the Democratic Party is at the lowest it's ever been since they started doing favorability ratings. It's at 27%.
Right.
Trump has dropped like 57 points in the first 100 days because what he ran on was not what he did. So I knew he was lying. I knew Kamala was lying. I tried to tell my friends, I begged them to see it, but they were, Trump bad, lesser evil. So it's only going to take people to just change their mind. But Jill was on the ballot all across the country for like 95% of voters.
Mm-hmm.
But despite all the tactics that were used against, the Green Party to keep us off the ballot and to sue us and to lie, because who was it? On the East Coast that they called him trying to get people to take their name off the petition.
Oh,
pretending to be the Green Party.
Was that Maryland where they did that? No, because it was Justin who discovered it. They called Justin B. Green. I'm not sure what.
Justin B. Green. I thought it was the East Coast, but anyway, yeah, they will do everything, and then if that doesn't work, they will smear your reputation, saying, especially if you're a man, saying that you did something wrong, accuse you of sexual whatever, so they can ruin your campaign. And by the time it comes out that that was not true, it's too late.
Yeah.
That's how devious they are. That's why the Democrats make us so much madder here in Illinois, not the people. People can change their vote. I'm talking about the people that join and put the D behind their name.
Peter Dow, I think he had just done a tweet and he said, so why are you folks more angry at the Democrats? And his response was, because you think worse of a traitor than an enemy. And that's kind of how it is. It's like Democrats are traitors because they promise the things that are good. They sound great, but they're the traitors. The Republicans are just enemies. They just say hateful stuff. They mean it and they go for it. Right. So yeah.
Remember when we were talking to Cody from, I think he's in like Oregon or Seattle or somewhere. Metaphorically, Republicans stab you in the front. They tell you exactly what they're going to do, and then they do it. And Democrats stab you in the back. They lie to you, and they're like, still got you.
Right.
Metaphorically, not physically.
Yeah. Mm.
But it turns out to be the same because people still lose their lives. They lose their lives because they don't have health care.
Right.
They tremendous hardship, being homeless. I can't even imagine. Just, and then the wars, all that money that gets spent on the Pentagon and Israel and the wars is not getting spent here. And then whenever we want something, we're like, we can't afford that.
Right.
Anyway, our next guest on Wednesday, I just looked it up. It's Geechee Ya.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
I think he's North Carolina. We saw him on Rednecks Gone Green, which is I highly recommend as well.
Yeah.
And asked if he wanted to come on. He works with this community and does mutual aid and all kinds of things. He's incredible. And I saw him over there and I'm like, hey, do you want to come on the Green live stream? So, it's going to be a good show. And our communities need to pull together. All we're going to have is each other until this is over. Yeah. And I do believe you are right, Brian. There will be a tipping point, but hanging on until then is the real trick.
Yeah, there you go. There is, right. I've said this on the show many times. There's a tipping point is coming. It is coming. And, like we pointed out, the two, murders of the CEOs. I mean, people can't take it anymore. And, again, we don't condone it, but
we also understand why it's happening.
We have been taken over by corporations and they are destroying this planet and everyone on it.
Yeah, we potentially had in this show Sabby Sabs and RBN do this like 11 demands thing, and they have this pyramid like triangle thing of feudalism then and now.
Oh, okay.
It's the same system. just different names on it.
Right. Well, they keep talking. The term tech feudalism is coming. That's what they keep talking about. You know, with the robots and AI, and again, I came up with a new slogan this week, folks. Choose water over AI, because that's going to be the next battle. I mean, I can't believe we have to keep coming up with new battles. Oh my God. But now that's going to be the new battle, because AI sucks up so much water to run their systems. It was weird when I first heard it, but it's true. I mean, it is really true.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. We're keeping CEOs safer by redistributing their wealth so they have less
Yes.
capacity to harm others.
Oh,
Save a billionaire, take away his money.
thank you, Alexandria, for that. That is special. Yes, absolutely.
So thank you all for sticking with us for this extended version of the News of the Week live stream. And I so appreciate all of you, and I'm excited to find out what running a campaign is like. I am up for the fight.
Yeah.
So, and my new friend Griselda Romero is running for governor as well. So we're going to make a great team.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And Hazel, if you want to hang on and talk about the other stuff, feel free.
Yeah, thanks, Hazel, for producing.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
it was
everybody give a shout out to Hazel for making it fun smooth.
It was so much easier for me. I'm not sitting there going, "Oh my God, panic, panic, panic." So we made you panic, and I didn't even get all the images up. But thank you.
Get out there and vote green, support green, join green, volunteer green, donate, whatever you can do. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you guys Wednesday at 7. Bye.
Bye now.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising. Fight the power.